Some houses crumble under the weight of poverty, others under the weight of cruelty. In a tiny broken home, a girl named Mara learned a brutal truth early. Being poor wasn't just about empty pockets. It was about carrying a burden everyone else blamed her for. Aunts who whispered, "She'll never be anything." Cousins who laughed when she glued her worn-out shoes. Even siblings who treated her like a stray they wished someone else would take. "Maybe if you were smarter, we'd be rich by now," her older brother sneered, slamming the door in her face. Her father barely looked her way. Her mother, the only flicker of warmth, tried to protect her, but even she was drowning, too tired to fight life's endless battles. And Mara? Mara stopped crying a long time ago, not because it didn't hurt, but because there were no tears left. She worked odd jobs after school, saved every penny like it was a life raft, dreamed quietly, fiercely. But in this house, dreams were just another thing to be mocked. What they didn't realize was that Mara wasn't breaking. She was building. It happened on a damp Sunday morning, the kind of morning where even the air felt heavy, thick with something Mara couldn't explain. She found her mother, collapsed on the kitchen floor, breath shallow, hands trembling, eyes half closed, slipping away. Panic exploded inside her. She screamed for help. No one came. Her father grunted from the living room, barely looking up, muttered something about overreacting. Her siblings, too busy tapping on their phones, lost in shallow distractions, ignoring the life slipping, away just a few feet from them. Mara ran to her uncle's house, begged for a loan, begged for mercy. He sneered. "Take care of your own problems," he said, and he slammed the door in her face. Left with no choice, Mara took charge. She sold her textbooks, skipped meals, took triple shifts cleaning houses no one else wanted to touch. While other girls her age were worrying about exams and weekend plans, Mara was figuring out how to keep someone alive. She watched YouTube videos late at night, teaching herself how to administer medication, how to ease pain, how to fight infections. She became a nurse, a caretaker, a provider. Every night she sat by her mother's bedside, holding her frail hand, whispering promises she barely knew how to keep. Her world shrank to two things: survive, save her mother. The family? They stayed away. They didn't care if she made it. They didn't care if her mother made it. Every betrayal hardened her heart a little more. Every cold shoulder was a nail sealing the coffin of whatever love she once hoped for. She saw them for who they really were. Not family, just people who shared her blood, and nothing else. But deep inside, something new began to stir. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't despair. It was something cold, something sharp, something relentless. Mara wasn't going to beg anymore. She wasn't going to plead. She was going to rise. Not for them, not to win their approval, but for herself and for the one person who had never abandoned her. Her mother. At night, when the world slept, when even the walls of her crumbling house seemed too tired to creak, Mara lived her second life. The life no one knew about. By the soft, flickering light of a second-hand laptop, she was building something, piece by piece. With just $50 she had scraped together from cleaning jobs, Mara started buying old clothes from thrift stores, stitching them, fixing them, breathing new life into forgotten fabrics. And then, she resold them. Quietly, on Instagram. Every free moment, every sliver of time she wasn't nursing her mother back to health, she was learning, hustling, grinding. She devoured free business courses, watched tutorials until her eyes burned, taught herself marketing, branding, negotiation, skills no one had ever offered to teach her. While her family gossiped and scrolled through meaningless distractions, Mara was quietly rewriting her destiny. First came a trickle of orders. A curious customer here, a small sale there. And then, the trickle became a stream. The stream became a flood. Within a year, Mara launched her official brand, Second Star Apparel. No longer just thrifted clothes, she partnered with local artists, designed custom pieces, crafted a brand story, a story about rising from nothing, about turning scars into stars. And the world listened. Investors started knocking. Influencers lined up, wanting to wear her designs. Fashion magazines wrote about the mysterious new brand that was changing the industry with raw authenticity. In just 3 years, Mara stood at the helm of a multi-million-dollar empire. Her mother knew. Her mother had always known, quietly, with pride burning in her tired eyes. But the others, her so-called family, they knew nothing. Mara kept it that way on purpose. She wasn't building this empire for them. She was building it despite them. Every order, every deal, every dollar earned was a brick in the fortress she was creating. Not just to survive, but to thrive. And when the time came, when the tables turned, Mara knew she'd be ready. She wasn't that invisible girl anymore, not the one they mocked, ignored, abandoned. She was a storm, silent, ruthless, unstoppable. Bad news spreads fast, and when it came to Mara's family, it spread like wildfire. Her uncle's once booming auto parts business, bankrupt. Her older brother's shiny tech startup, shattered under a brutal lawsuit. One by one, the proud pillars of the family began to crumble. And when desperation set in, they went looking for opportunities. Blind, arrogant, desperate, and they found them. Second Star Apparel had grown beyond fashion now, expanding into real estate, tech investments, global markets. And the name leading all the acquisitions? Mara Vale. The day they discovered the truth was almost poetic. Her father arrived at the towering glass headquarters, clutching a worn-out briefcase, nervously smoothing back his greasy hair. He thought he was here for a business opportunity. He thought he would charm his way in. Sell some sob story, find another easy lifeline. He didn't recognize the CEO sitting behind the mirrored conference glass. Not until Mara walked in. Sharp navy blue suit, confident stride, eyes colder than winter. His jaw dropped. "You?" he stammered. Mara smiled. Cool, distant, unforgiving. "Welcome to your new employer," she said. And that was only the beginning. The contracts her family signed? Brutal. Minimum wage, zero favoritism, performance reviews stricter than steel. No handouts. No second chances. Her aunts and uncles once laughing at her torn shoes, now filing paperwork until their hands cramped. Her cousins who had once sneered at her patches and glue, now scrubbing inventory rooms. Her brother who mocked her dreams, running errands, forgotten in endless corporate hallways. Every insult, every cruelty, paid back in silent, cutting justice. But Mara wasn't cruel. She didn't scream, she didn't gloat, she didn't need to. Their own choices were punishment enough. Because now, they lived every day with the slow, aching realization. They had destroyed the only bridge that could have saved them. And Mara? She had crossed it, alone. Every morning when they clocked into work, every paycheck they barely scraped by with every cold glance from their new boss, was a reminder. They had underestimated the wrong girl. The sun dipped low, bathing the valley in soft gold. And Mara sat quietly on the porch of her dream home. A cozy little cottage, overlooking rolling hills that seemed to stretch forever. Beside her, in a rocking chair, her mother swayed, gently, humming an old lullaby Mara hadn't heard in years. Healthier now, stronger, alive. They sipped warm tea from handmade cups. The scent of roses, sunflowers, and lilacs filled the air. Flowers Mara had planted with her own hands. all the flowers her mother once said she loved, but never could afford. Inside the cottage, a fire crackled gently in the stone hearth. On the walls hung photos, not of the family who abandoned them. No, these were photos of a new life. Paris, Tokyo, Venice. Moments of laughter, adventures carved out of stubborn hope and fierce love. Not a single frame held a face from the past they had left behind, because Mara had finally done it. She had built a life free from their cruelty, free from their chains, free from their shadows. And the best part? She had done it all on her own terms, without permission, without apology. Mara glanced at her mother. Her mother smiled back, a smile full of pride, full of peace. The kind of smile that said everything, without saying a word. This was her empire. Not built on greed, not built on betrayal. Built on love, on resilience, on dreams they had once been told were impossible. And as the sun dipped behind the hills, and the stars began to light up the velvet sky, Mara wore her crown, not one of gold or jewels, but a crown made of peace. Sweet, earned, absolute. If you ever feel like you're fighting alone, remember, empires are often built in silence, and crowns are earned, not given.